Hello guys, Fuzzfinger here and welcome back to Final Fantasy IX. We're going to begin today by going to an optional area of the game known as Daguerreo. I could be pronouncing that incorrectly as per usual, but hopefully you'll get the idea. So in order to find this little city, this kind of hidden city, you need to head over to the Sacrabless Island, which is down in the southern western area of the world map. And if you just land the airship on this precipice here, alternatively if you have the Sky Chocobo, you can land in that forest down below and head on up. It's all the same, doesn't really matter, gets to the same place in the end. So we're going to head in and see what awaits. There's just a few optional bits we can do here. It's nothing incredibly exciting, but if you're going for a complete walkthrough, a complete playthrough, then obviously you're going to want to come here. So once we've managed to enter, we're just going to head over here. We'll just get the thingy out of the way. There is a Stellario hidden around the city. I'm just trying to remember exactly where it is. It's probably not really a city. I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology to use. Could be around here. Yes, there we go. That's the Capricorn Stellario, which is our 10th Stellario. So we're well on our way to completing that little side quest. Although we can't actually do so until the next disc. Now, this person here is the four-armed man, and you can go ahead and play cards with him. Be warned that when you speak to him, he will disappear after that, so you won't be able to play cards anymore. So if you want to get any items from him, any cards, then make sure you do go ahead and do that first. So when you've done all the card games you want to do with this fella, you can go ahead and speak to him, and he will give you your treasure rank. Now, if things have gone according to plan, then we should have the S rank, and presuming you've been following my walkthrough from start to finish and been doing everything I've been telling you to do, then you should also be getting the S rank. But let's find out if all's gone to plan. Otherwise the last 50 odd episodes have been a bit annoying, haven't they? Yeah, there we go. Rank S. It's what we wanted. But he goes off now. So never to be seen from again either, sadly. And we can head up this lift here. And one of the good things about this place, this city, this building, whatever it is you want to call it, is the synthesis shop here. Should have a lot of good upgrades for us, especially this weapon here for Zidane. Look at that. And also there's robes as well that will be pretty darn useful, amongst other things. So please do go ahead and spend some time experience some of the stuff that is at the synthesis shop, which is mostly, in all honesty, that weapon for Zidane and some of the robes. But there's also some summon jewels as well, although it looks like we've got the vast majority of those already. But they're there if you need them. Once you finish with your synthesis, you can speak to the Moogle, although there's nothing to do with the Mognet, and you've probably just saved anyway, so he's there if you need him, as the Moogles tend to be. And we can just go at the top level here, and there's more folks and that hanging around. First thing we're going to do is examine this book pile here. Do that again. Okay, so once we've done that, we can speak to the sales clerk here and stock up on any items that we might need. I'll probably buy a few more tents. I usually find around 18 to be the magic number, but you can go ahead and max your tents out if you need to. And if we speak to this guy, try not to keep talking to the the same person. Well, if we speak to this young man, he'll tell us that the two of them are actually having a debate. And this is a little bit of a very, very small but interesting side quest. Or side content. It's not really a quest, is it? We can take sides with one of these two. And as long as we stay true to the argument that we make, then we'll get a card at the end. So we'll do it a few times. So the clerk tells us it's because it's the only way she could be united with Marcus. We want to agree with her again. Now you can agree with the other guy, it doesn't matter as long as you do it time after time. And then you'll also get a card, a different card. I think it's a holy card and a meteor card. You can only get one. So we'll agree with the clerk or the clerk once more. And we'll do it once more. And we'll just keep doing this. And the sales clerk will be very happy with us now because we've done that 3 or 4 times. And we'll get the meteor card. So, agree with the other guy and you'll get the holy card. There's a strange looking button here. We'll go ahead and press it. And that'll do something a little bit interesting, which I'll show you in a minute. Speak to one of these guys, maybe the guy behind the counter. Yep, then he'll tell you that you can use the library as an inn. I'm not too bothered about doing that. And the reason why this guy moved here is because we examined that book pile, which I told you to do. So we can see the old man is now over there chatting to it. Well, looking at it, whatever it is he's doing with those books, I don't know. But now we can access this section where there's a question mark. And we can head down, which will take us to the middle level of these 3 stories that we're seeing in this place. And if we go along here, we can collect an elixir. And I think it's this guy here. Yes. If you've got the naming way card, which you should have if you've been following through with my series, then we can show it to this fella. And what this fella will do is actually let us rename our characters, believe it or not. So I'm not going to do that. I'm happy with the standard Final Fantasy IX names to avoid any confusion. But if you want to go ahead and rename your party, then by all means this is the way you can do it. So there might be another elixir around here somewhere, I think. If this guy would kindly move. Okay, it's on this side, I see. Probably down the same location as the other side. Yeah, there we go. So there's 2 elixir to grab. And now we'll head back to the middle section here and return to where we originally came from. So there is a kind of weapon shop here, but sadly the poor fella's going out of business, so he doesn't have anything to sell, thanks to that darn synthesis that we purchased some stuff from earlier on. But anyway, once you're done with all that, you can start heading back down. And we're going to head back to the original entrance. And if you remember, we pressed that strange button earlier on. Well, what that means now is if you approach the structure that we brought down, we get a bit of text to read. And basically the way this works is every 4 ore we put into this thing, we get an aquamarine in return. I'm just going to see if it works by putting multiples of 4 in. So let's say we put 8 in, for instance. Do we get 2, or do we have to do it 4 at a time? Yeah, we can do it as many times in one go as we want to. Now we're going to head over to the left, which is an area we haven't yet visited. And we get told that there's a bit of a functionality behind how the lifts work here. But interestingly, if we can fix this by pressing these, or pulling these levers and what have you, then we can actually get the weapon shop that we just saw earlier on to open up. So, the first thing we're going to do is pull the left lever until we can see that hole there. So we're going to cancel that, and then if we can make our way through it, if we examine the hole, and now the rod. And now we're going to head back to the 3 levers here, and this time we're going to lower the right lever, and again, and we can jump on the right hand platform now, and it will take us up. And the weaponsmith is very happy with us. And we have full access to all of the weapons, and as you can see, there's a few bits and bobs that we don't yet have. So go ahead and stock up on all the stuff that you need. Make sure as well, for synthesis purposes for later on, since some of these items aren't always going to be available, make sure you stock up on at least 3 or 4 diamond armours, and I recommend at least 2 or 3 of the Hamelins, obelisks, tiger fangs, Sura's rods, and octagon rods as well. And there's also, of course, items here that have new abilities for you to learn, so make sure you pick those up as well. And I'm just going to sort out my equipment now that I've purchased it. Oh, and also for synthesis, make sure you have at least 9 of these Zorlin shapes, which will all be made sense of later on. But for now, just make sure you go ahead and purchase those. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the optional Daguerreo, or whatever this place is called, area. For now, so we can head on out when we're ready, and we'll carry on with more story. But I'm just going to do a little bit of grinding, nothing too excessive, just to try and learn a couple of new abilities that I've since picked up. Your destination, as soon as you're ready to head out, is this place known as Ipsen's Castle, which you can see on the map here. It should already be highlighted for you, but if not, this is where you need to fly the airship to. And make sure you've prepared your party. I'm going to be taking Zidane, Steiner, Quina and Dagger. Now I'm taking Quina because his or her frog drop ability is, at this level of the game for me, somewhat of a substantial damage dealer. It does just under, I think, 4,000 damage each time you use it. So for 10 MP, that's not too bad at all. The frog drop ability is based on your level and the amount of frogs you've caught, maxing out at 99. So if you haven't been doing the frog catching, then I wouldn't worry about taking Quina at this point of the game, in all honesty, at least to this next dungeon. If you don't want to take Quina, then I recommend taking Freya instead. You probably don't want to take a mage such as Vivi, because I do believe there's a kind of MP drain in this next area. So even though Quina will be affected by that, that is still worth taking that character because of that ability, as I mentioned. But Vivi, all his spells take so much MP, it's probably not worth it. The other characters I recommend are Steiner, and of course, as usual, we're going to need a healer, so either Dagger or Aiko. And I recommend Dagger in this instance because some of her abilities will be more useful in terms of the summons that she has as opposed to what Aiko has. And make sure that Dagger can use both Bahamut and Leviathan, and has the boost ability equipped. As far as other abilities go, make sure your physical damage dealers have the Bird Killer and Devil Killer and Beast Killer abilities, and make sure that, if possible, all 4 of your party members, whoever they are, have the Body Temp ability activated. And depending on how many stones you have, then you might want to go ahead and equip the antibody as well, since there is some bio attacks that are going to be used. And we're also going to be petrified a few times throughout this dungeon, so make sure you've got a nice healthy supply of softs to take in with you. I've got 88 here, so that should hopefully be enough. And make sure any magic dealing characters that you have, such as Dagger, or if you do take Vivi for whatever reason, or Aiko, or whoever the case may be, that they do equip the half MP ability also. I think that's about it as far as we need to know with abilities. You will actually be using, as you'll see as we go in, your character's lower weapons, some of their first initial weapons, such as Steiner's broadsword, for instance. That's just because of the mechanics of the dungeon. And also something else I should mention as to why I'm actually bringing Quina is we can actually learn Quina's final blue magic ability, the only one that we now need to get, we can get from this upcoming dungeon. So you don't have to get it now if you don't want to bring Quina. You can come back a little bit later on, once we've cleared the place out as far as the story is concerned. We can just pop back to learn that, but I thought it'd be nice if we could learn it now, just for the sake of maxing out Quina's blue magic. But with everything ready, we should be hopefully ready to move on into the next dungeon, which is Ipsen's castle. So here we go.